dugsiga boardingka iyo maalinlaha ah ee Amano boarding and day.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome back, my dear students. For the last two lessons we have been talking about the endocrine system. The endocrine system is an alternative way of coordinating body organs and activities. The first one, or the major one, is the nervous system, and the second one is the endocrine system. Usually some of the biologists say the endocrine system works with the nervous system. That means the nervous system is the master. In our last lesson we talked about some main endocrine glands, their products or hormones, and the effect of their hormones. So today we're just still continuing the main endocrine glands, their secretions and functions in the body, in the human body. As we explained in our previous lessons, we said hormone is the product of an endocrine gland. It's called a hormone, and hormone is acts as a chemical messenger. It acts as a chemical messenger. Today we have three glands. Number one, the testis. This is for males. The counterpart of ovaries. Females have 2 ovaries and males have 2 testes. As a gland, the testes produce a hormone called androgens or testosterone. It's also called the male sex hormone. The reason why we are saying male sex hormone is that it produces the secondary sexual characteristics of males. What we mean by secondary sexual characteristics of male? As human male, the boys reach at the age of puberty around, maybe, although it depends on the environment, say let's start from 12 for example to 18, a number of changes take place. These include producing more facial hair, becoming more muscular body, deepening voice, as well as some physiological changes like producing sperm cells. So what causes these changes to take place is the testosterone, this hormone which is produced by the testes. So that's why we are calling it sex hormone. And please do not confuse sex hormone to sex cell. A sex cell, like sperm cells and egg cells, are those that when they unite or join together produce the offspring, and the sex hormones are those that show or produce the characteristics of the male during the puberty, especially during the puberty. No matters then if you, for example, if you see these characteristics at in a later age, nothing's wrong with it. It's okay. Some people get 12, some people get 13, some 11. It depends on the environment and the genetic constitution of the individual himself or herself. Number 2, the stomach cells. This is very important. In Form 1, you learn that as the food reaches in the stomach from the mouth, the food is added with some gastric juices, like which contains some enzymes like pepsin, some other substances like hydrochloric acid. So there must be some kind of communication because the stomach, it doesn't produce the gastric juices whenever it wants or how much it wants. There must be some kind of communication. So as soon as the food reaches in the stomach, it produces this hormone which is called gastrin. So the gastric triggers the production of the gastric juices. Okay. You see, please, as the food reaches in the stomach, the glands of the stomach cells secrete this hormone, which stimulates the protection of the gastric juices, which carries on their function, which is to break down food, for example, and proteins, especially pepsin, and also the hydrochloric acid in the gastric juices destroys or kills any bacteria that may be present in the food. Intestinal cells, just like the gastric, and stomach cells, when food reaches in the small intestine, especially the first part of the small intestine, the duodenum, there are some substances produced by the pancreas, which takes part the digestion of food in the small intestine. So as the food reaches the small intestine, the intestinal cells themselves produce a hormone called secretin. So secretin stimulates the release of pancreatic juices. You remember, please, pancreatic juice, if you see the word juice, it's something which contains two different substances, like, for example, enzymes and other substances. So the juice contains, for example, enzymes like lipase, like trypsin, which breaks down proteins, and so on. And the substances is a sodium hydrogen carbonate, which is very important. Sodium hydrogen carbonate is very important. The food in this, which is being digested in the small intestine, come from the stomach, which is an acidic environment. And the enzymes that work in the small intestine need more or less a pH which is basic pH, alkaline pH. So if this substance, sodium hydrogen carbonate, is not added to the food from the stomach, then denaturation of enzymes in the small intestine can happen, so that there will be no digestion in the small intestine. So this is very important. Okay, let's continue. That's all about the hormones. So the last part of this chapter, we are going to compare the nervous system and the endocrine system. Let's look some differences out between them. The response confined to effector organs. Confined means it's a limited. It's what? A limited. Localized. For example, if I touch a hot object in my right hand, the signals are sent to the triceps of my right hand. So the hand which quickly withdraws from the hot object is the right hand, not the left hand, please. You see, this is the hot object, for example. So if you touch the hot object with your right hand, the signals are sent to the right hand, not to the left hand, please. This is what we mean localized. But the endocrine system is more widespread, various target organs. For example, as we were explaining just a few minutes before, we said androgens produce what's called male secondary sexual characteristics. So that means that hormone affects many different parts of your body, producing facial hair, becoming more muscular body, deepening voice, and production of sperm cells. It affects many different parts of your body. So this is widespread, but this is a specific area. The speed of the response is rapid. You cannot calculate how long it takes when you touch a hot object. You just quickly, or within fraction of seconds, you withdraw your hand from the hot object. So this is very rapid, but this is less rapid, because it takes sometimes, it takes minutes, it may take hours, days, sometimes years. So this is very low. The nervous impulses are carried by nerve cells or neurons from the center to the target organ through the nerve cells. So they are carried by nerve cells, but this is a nerve cell or neuron, but this is carried by the blood stream, yeah? From the site of production, which is the gland, to the site of use or the target organ. Duration of response is short. It's short lasting. As soon as you withdraw your your hand from the hot object, that's it. But this is it persists long, sometimes years, sometimes days, hours, months, and sometimes for your entire life. I have, for example, some small pit. This is as a result of the androgen. So I will be having this for my life. And transmission is through electrical, but transmission is through what, please? Through chemical. So my dear students, I would like to advise you when you are going to get the major concept of this chapter, what you need is, number one, to know what we mean by, you will go back to your previous lessons, and then you need to know about the difference between endocrine glands and exocrine glands. The most important part you need is to learn three things about the glands. Number one, the name of the gland. Okay, for example, you can say a pituitary gland. You need to learn the name of the gland. Number two, the product, the hormone it produces. Like, for example, the pituitary gland produces ADH, antidiuretic hormone. Number three, you need to know the effect, of that hormone, and again the site of use or the target organ of that hormone, which is the kidneys. ADH, antidiuretic hormone, affects the function of the kidney so that they will absorb more water. So, and that's all about what we have today. Thank you very much, my dear students. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.